Hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. I say that because this is being recorded on a Thursday today, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you guys about a topic that's often brought up when it comes to art and a creative job, let's say, and that really is the argument between whether you go self-taught or whether you go the education route for becoming a better artist, for getting into different places when it comes to work and all that sort of thing. So I wanted just to discuss kind of some points, my experiences, my story, and let you guys know so you can maybe use this information to judge for yourself whether you want to go ahead and go education or try to become a self-taught artist. I'm going to start with my story. I started out drawing as a kid, and ever since then, I think it was 8 years old where it just really took off more, where I was like, okay, I can do this. Everyone was starting to say that whole talented word. They kept telling me I'm talented, so I was like, okay, I can draw, and maybe something will come of this. But I was never properly 1,000% in when doing art. It was always a thing I came back to. It was always a thing I enjoyed, but it was never a priority. Well, I say that it was a priority, but when I was a kid, games were more of a priority, and hanging out with friends. So I wasn't sitting at home non-stop drawing, but I was also doing a little bit of that. So I guess it was a passion from the beginning. On the times where I wasn't doing the other things, I was drawing. And, I kind of just traversed through life. When I was still in Poland, I went to primary school in Poland. That's it for the first year. And I did go to a art-centered school. So there was a bit of art there, but it was kind of terrible. It wasn't really drawing. All I remember from it, art-wise, was we created these figurines out of tinfoil, I think it was. That was literally all that came from there. And then when I moved to the UK, I started getting into comics a lot, and I started reading Spider-Man comics, and the art in it and everything in there just really stuck with me. It was amazing seeing all the stuff that these guys were creating. And I also remember I had a DVD of Spider-Man 1 that my parents bought, and it had an extras section in there, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this at some point on the channel, but in that section there was a video of all the comic book artists. I need to find this video somewhere because I want to watch it again. But it was just all the comic book artists behind Marvel were doing their thing, and there was Stan Lee and all the others, and they were just all creating sketches of Spider-Man, and that video, I fell in love with that video instantly, and I would rewatch it and rewatch it and rewatch it, and I said to myself, I'll be that one day. I'll be able to do that drawing that's there. And it's funny, I never look back because I can do a drawing like that now, and it's nice to think about that those things I was saying as a kid actually came true. So that's pretty awesome. But nevertheless, since that point, it really just kind of it became me. I became an artist, I'd say. This is where I wanted to explore it more. I wanted to draw. I wanted to create. And I was always a creative person, but that was a big turning point for me. And so, on and on. I would have art in school and I would love it, but I wouldn't get the best grades because I was just set on drawing with a pencil and using ink. And the problem with education comes in the fact that they always want you to experiment. That was my problem, at least. And that's where I'm going to get on to the next point with this seamless transition, is the point that education can ruin things for people. So I guess this will be a point against going the education route, or just telling you why I didn't go the education route. Education makes things very mundane often, very repetitive, which, yes, that's what we need to become better artists, but it does have a huge effect on us wanting to do it. I guess it's a way of deciding who's really in it for the long run and who's not, maybe. It wasn't like that for me, at least, but it can really ruin some passion like that for you. I know that's kind of what happened with me in design after university. Maybe I just had wrong expectations of it, but I definitely didn't want to do much connected to it apart from maybe graphic design. After I finished, I thought, I don't really want to do much of this at the moment. But the fact that schools will often force you to do different things that maybe you don't want to do, because the great thing about being an artist is you can really just be any artist you want. You can be a painter, you can be just kicked over a box. You can be like a line artist, you can be someone who sketches storyboards. There's so many options, yet you're always forced to use paints. Or at least I was often told to do that. Which, in itself was great, because I got to experience paints and got to realize that's not something for me, but it was also annoying, because I just felt like I couldn't do what I wanted, which didn't sit well with me, right? And that may not sit well with you either, so maybe you need to consider whether you really want to be in an education for art, because maybe you don't like being forced to do things or told to do things. You'd rather create your own stuff. And there are many ways you can go with in terms of career by just doing your own things. It's way harder, but you can do it. Now, the reason I didn't choose to go into education with art was because I was told by everyone around me to do design, and I listened. And I'm not going to say it was a bad choice to listen to it. I'm here where I am because of it, and I'm grateful for it all. But I chose it because even my art teacher recommended I chose design rather than illustration at university, because it just had more pathways to go. It had more places to go for me. And I also enjoyed design, so it was kind of like, okay, well, I guess this is the better choice, right? Everyone around me is telling me to do this, so surely they will know how to do it. They'll know what best to do. So I did listen to that, and that is a big reason why I didn't go into education, further with art. I did study it during sixth form in school, which is kind of like college. So you choose certain, subjects, and you go through with it, and then you learn them all. So, yeah, I did choose art there, but afterwards I went to design because it still had a bit of art in it, but it was something that was going to get me a better job, theoretically, according to everyone around me. And that's the biggest reason why I didn't choose education. And I have been loving the fact that all of this stuff that I can do is mostly self-taught, because for me, another problem with education was that we weren't really taught like I'm teaching myself now, like all these fundamentals and breaking down all of this stuff. We weren't really taught that. We were told like the basics of color mixing and, shading, but the rest was not shown to me. I wasn't aware how important it is for you to be a really good artist, that you need to have those things nailed down. I only found that out after learning from artists on YouTube and on courses and stuff. That's when I found out that this stuff's really important. I mean, maybe I was in the wrong school or something, but that's what it was like for me. And I don't know whether I would have had that in university, because I feel like at that point they don't want to be teaching you those fundamentals, because they'll be like, then you'll be like, oh, what am I paying for these like basics? So I don't know, it was I felt like the right things weren't being taught, and the fact that I'm a self-taught artist just gives me a little bit more pride to say that, because I can say that I went out of my own way and I tried to learn on my own accord all these things. So I know more effort went into it, almost. Not to say that people that go to school don't put in the effort, because they obviously do, because you need to get really high grades to do well and all that. But I'm just happy to say that I taught myself all of this stuff. And everyone has their journey, and you'll get to your journey when you get there, and I'll get to my journey when I get there. So, let's get on to the final couple points that I wanted to say. Whether you're choosing self-taught or education, you still have to remember that you will have to invest. And by that I mean investing in yourself through things like courses and through things like books and places where you can learn. Because you can learn most things from YouTube, but I feel like you get a much better package if you go out there and buy a course. I learned the most from art through courses, through people like Mark Brunet. He has amazing online courses for art, and they will teach you so much just from looking at that person's workflow and how they work. You can learn so much, and that's obviously something you won't get to see unless you buy a course. With education, you often don't see it either, because I don't remember my art teachers drawing much, to be honest. I wish they would have shown me their sketchbook. Maybe if I asked, but I was a very shy kid, so that might be why. But if I asked for their books, maybe they would have shown me it. But I would have loved to see their work process. Like, imagine an art class where your art teacher gets out a sketchbook and just draws for an hour, and you get to watch every move he makes. I feel like you'd learn so much just looking at that. You would learn so much, and maybe it would put off some kids, but those probably wouldn't be the kids that want to be there in the first place. But I would love that sort of education, and that's the sort of education you get to have when you're self-taught, because you can look at all these courses and all these artists, and you can just really pick their brain almost. And it's amazing if you go out there and get like a one-to-one program with one of these guys. So by saying that you should still invest, I mean do things like that. Get a professional eye on your work. That is the best way to improve, because they will tell you what you're doing wrong and what you need to work on. So an investment is still required, and an art education is also expensive. But I think if you're a self-taught artist, it will cost you a lot less money. Believe me in that. It will cost you a lot less money. Even something as expensive as the full course that Mark Brunet offers, which is amazing, by the way. I've only had a couple lessons from there, but I know from those couple lessons that it is going to be amazing. And all the positive reviews say so themselves. This isn't a plug for it, by the way. Sorry about that. I just want to throw out one of these amazing courses to all you guys listening, so you know that where you can go and find these resources. But even something like that costs, I think it's $1,500 or $1,000. I'm not too sure on the price at the moment. That is way cheaper than going to university for 3 or 4 years. I know that from experience. It costs a lot to do education like that, and funny thing about university is you kind of pay to learn by yourself. That's at least my experience of it. And then I guess you also pay for the typical university life as well. But you do have to be very independent in uni, so I guess you always also kind of have to do some self-teaching there too. So remember that you will still need to invest in yourself, even if you're doing like your own teaching and becoming self-taught. So that's a very important point, by the way. And I think the final point I want to kind of talk about is how hardworking are you? Are you really dedicated to becoming an artist? Do you know that that's something you want to do? Because I didn't. It took me a long time to figure that out, but I always kept coming back to it. And I wish I was a lot more hardworking when I was younger. I keep thinking, like, if I went to university now, I would have been a lot better I would have tried a lot harder. I would have known what to do. But that is hindsight, and that is what happens when you grow up a little bit and you go through life a little bit. You start to learn these things, and you wish you could go back, but you can't. And it's good that you can't, because now you know how important that thing was. But how driven are you? Because if you want to go through education, although you have to be extremely driven to do it, and you have to be on point to get the best grades, there's still a bit of a guidance, right? There's still tests that you have to do. There's these hand-ins. There's things keeping you in check. There's someone giving you orders. If you're self-taught, if you don't decide you're going to do it, you're not going to do it. There's no one that's going to tell you to do it. So, are you driven enough to do that? To learn by yourself? To go out there and find what you need to learn? The resources that you need to learn? Are you driven enough to do that? And that's you need to do some deep thinking on that. Are you driven enough to essentially run your own business? Because that's what being an artist kind of is, if you want to make money from it and you want to be independent. Obviously depends where you go, because you could be a self-taught artist that works for Blizzard or some other place like that, and that's obviously a bit different from running your own business. But if you want to become a self-taught artist, you kind of have to think of it as a business. You have to invest in yourself to get a better return on investment on your drawings. Like if you put in some money on a course, you can expect to learn something a lot faster than if you were to try and learn it yourself through trial and error. So, are you driven enough to do that? It's a big question, because in education you have to have that drive, but like I said, there's always someone telling you what you need to do next, and showing you kind of the standard you need to get to. So that's a big question you should ask yourself, and deeply think about it, because that's going to be a big deciding factor. Is that, do you really want to do this? Because if you do, then the choice becomes a little bit more clear. And obviously it all depends on your financial situation and where you live and everything like that. So please remember, I do bear that in mind. I know I'm very grateful and lucky that I was able to go to university and experience that, and it's taught me a lot anyways. So it's helped me decide more what I want to do. It's helped me land my first art job, which was great, and also awesome that my first job after doing design at uni was like very art based. So I'm glad I went there, and I'm glad it helped me realize what I want to do more. And I know that I want to teach myself how to become a really good artist, like one of the best, hopefully. It's my goal to do that, and if I get there, well, hopefully when I get there, I'll know that it's very much thanks to me and the people that I mentored from on my journey. Now, before I leave, I want to do a quick shout out to some channels that I would recommend for you guys to watch. First one's Adam Duff, Lucid Pixels, the name of the channel. Adam Duff is the person behind it. He has the best art advice that you can find. He is such a genuine and loving person, you can tell from the videos, and he talks about the things that I think other artists, I don't know whether they ignore them or maybe they don't think they're as important, but he talks more about the life aspect and you as the artist, not just the label artist. So he is amazing, and I know he has his own school, which I will hope to be a part of one day. I really hope to be able to afford something like that at some point and invest in it to explore what it's like to be in his school and to have him mentoring you for your work. So I very much recommend his channel. And the other channel is what I mentioned, Mark Brunet. When it comes to digital art, I think I've learned the most from him. He has some of the greatest tutorials, even for free, on his YouTube. You can learn so much just from that. And he's an incredible guy. Makes some amazing content and teaches us a lot. And to be honest, I feel bad labeling as content, as I think he's just giving out knowledge. So definitely check those two channels out. They are amazing, and I think they'll teach you a lot about being an artist and becoming a better artist. And of course there's me, trying to be just as great as them. So if you want to stick around, I'll be trying my best to teach anything I learn and pass on all the knowledge, as I think it's the best way to show my gratitude to you guys for tuning in and showing your support to the channel. So, final thing, Discord will be live by the end of today, and that will be announced on the community. So I don't know when this video will be live. I presume it'll be on Friday. So today, I mean Thursday. So it'll be up already when you're watching this. So I don't know why I'm doing this in an announcement way, but I want to thank you very much for watching this video and tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the drawing in the background, and just hopefully something here was able to ring a bell in your head and point you more in the right direction for you. So without further ado, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you get a lot of practice in and you create some awesome art. I will see you guys in the next video.